Alright, what's up guys? It's K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for y'all today. Thank you guys for always coming through to support the channel. Y'all know what I always keep on doing. I just like to keep coming out with content. And whatever happens for this channel, the channel is just going to keep growing and keep getting better. So I appreciate you guys coming through and just, always appreciating, like what I have to do here or what I do here. So I just try to do the best I can, and then I just go about my own way. But yeah, let's get right up into it. I wanted to bring up a gaming content video for y'all today. We're gonna be talking about ESBC. More so, I'm gonna basically just title this video what's the holdup for Esports Boxing Club, and is the hype worth it? So yeah. We'll be talking about that today, and I'll be covering my own take on what ESBC will be covering and how I believe this game itself will turn into a good, how should I say, either good game on paper, but then it could end up becoming a bad game in the future. So I'm going to be talking about my initial thoughts off of ESBC and what I think about, about the game itself. The game itself looks okay. ESBC is not the best game ever, simply because it doesn't portray the same mechanics as a Fight Night Champion or Fight Night Round 3, if you will. Only problem with this game is just that this game only holds more focus to what the game itself focus on the mechanics of boxing. And I guess certain channels like Boxing Fanatico and Usyk Gaming and Alex Dark Sniper have covered or has covered this game a lot, but I'd say that the biggest critics out of this game itself has to be Boxing Fanatico, or no, I wouldn't say Boxing Fanatico. I would say mostly it would have to be Alex Dark Sniper and Usyk Gaming. I do like Usyk Gaming simply for his proper criticism for the game itself, but I don't really see his content to be very good when it comes to analyzing games efficiently. But Alex Dark Sniper, he did a really good assessment off of this game, which I do appreciate, his content. Don't really agree with a lot of stuff with what he talks about as far as, Fight Night goes and other type of topics that he covers. But gaming wise, he's really good at, covering, I guess, the content at bay of what he wants to expect out of a boxing video game. See, now for me, I'm all for the mechanics, but I'm also for the actual fundamentals and the actual consistency in the game itself to be very consistent in a boxing game. I like to see the actual sweet signs of boxing, but at the same time, it can't be no cut and dry type of video game where it looks good, on the outside, but coming into the inside, it doesn't really look that good because it's not a actual Fight Night video game type game where the mechanics itself basically structures itself based off of the principality of how a boxing fight should go down. See, now what I like out of ESBC is that the fighter movement is very educated. But the footwork is really good for the fighters that actually execute, I guess, their strategy in the ring. But the biggest problem that I have with Fight Night, compared to, ESBC, is that Fight Night, they didn't have a certain type of footwork movement system where you could actually work on utilizing, the ring to your advantage, and you being more, how should I say, disciplined on how you move in the ring and boxing. So, if I'm moving to my left and I'm shifting with my left, then there should be certain punches within a fight that offsets a fighter that also disrupts, their footwork, because there's certain fighters that are not good fighting off of their back foot. but there's some fighters that are really good fighting off of their front foot. So I guess like what ESBC is trying to do, they're actually trying to make this into a boxing game where it actually becomes a very competitive type game where you have to really utilize like I guess like the right punches and the strategies to break your opponent down methodically and use proper punches in order to win the fight, which is good, but at the same time, they're not utilizing what the proper mechanics when you're initiating certain punches in a fight. Because the problem that I have with ESBC is that, you know, the game itself looks good as far as graphics go, but the, how should I say, you know, the punch animations and the reads that fighters do, it kind of looks like a watered down version of Fight Night Round 3. And, you know, that's not bad to say the least, but at least with Fight Night Round 3, you were able to move around. You were able to do the things that you wanted to do as far as punching and actually, you know, bobbing and weaving and actually, you know, stick and moving, you know, certain fighters, you know, off of a jab or off of a feint or, you know, like whatever type of punches that you can, you know, utilize in your game. But the biggest issue that I had with Fight Night Champion and all the other Fight Night games is that Fight Night wasn't utilizing enough ring IQ in the game, you know, which was really vital for Fight Night to be successful because, you know, you had to have some form of style that portrayed different compared to the other fighters' style because, you know, that's what made Fight Night, where you had like the Muhammad Ali style, you had like a Mike Tyson style, you had like certain styles that were tailored to be better or to be, you know, destroyed by other fighters' style. Hence, you know, why, you know, styles make fights. But I think what I like out of ESBC is the consistency in the fighting potential to actually make a fight a real fight. So the chess matching of what shot selections that you do in a fight is a lot more educated. The footwork is really good, but the punch, punch selection in a fight is actually a little bit difficult to understand because, you know, let's just say if we talk about, I guess, at the female division, which I'm going to be a little bit critical off of ESBC on it, but let's just say Clarissa Shields is in the game, and I use her versus, let's just say, Savannah Marshall. And let's just say that the game itself favors, you know, Clarissa with, you know, more hand speed, but Savannah has more power in terms of just getting you uncomfortable with like that one shot. But let's just say Clarissa's chin is a little bit more battle tested than Savannah's chin, which, you know, could be possible. But let's just say if I'm playing in a online match against a Savannah Marshall player, and Savannah Marshall, she hits me with a cheesy shot with a punch that, you know, obviously I kind of blocked at first, but then if I move like my certain angles to get hit, you know, by that signature punch, does that mean that Savannah Marshall has the upper edge advantage to knock out Clarissa Shields, or does it mean that I, Clarissa Shields, you know, let the boxing player have like a proper methodology to recover quicker and to find a better response time mechanism in order to fight back to Savannah Marshall's pressure offense, and then I respond with better defensive tactics that could lead me into either possibly stopping her or possibly hurting her more in the fight. Because Clarissa, she does have some pop, but she's obviously not like the best well-rounded, you know, like knockout puncher. But you know, I guess as far as like this game goes, you know, I would like to see what this game would bring as far as like you choosing like what type of glove size that you want for the fighters, or what type of, you know, ring size that you would like for the fighters. You know, do you want like the ring size to be, you know, 12 inches, 13 inches, or 16 or 20 something, you know, feet inches? Like, you know, I don't know what would be the right game plan in order to make this game good. But I would be very surprised if this game really does become like a spinoff out of Fight Night Round 3 mixed with maybe a little bit of Knockout Kings. But I kind of feel like that's what they're not trying to do. They're obviously trying to make this game very competitive, and obviously that the game's going to be tested online to be more of an online competitive esports game, which I don't believe in esports is a very backwards competitive league where people think it's a actual sport when it's clearly not a sport. Esports is just a extracurricular activity that people get into just for fun. But as far as this game goes, it's promising. I guess to really answer the question, is the hype real though? I don't think so. I don't think this game is good yet, because like we haven't seen any updates with what the game is going to come out with, and I believe that this game is either going to end up like Fight Night Round 3, where it's going to be a very, very good game, and a lot of people are going to like it. Don't get it twisted. But if it doesn't give us what we want, then it's going to basically become like a knockoff version of it, and then people are not going to like it at all. So I personally want this game to be successful, but I guess as far as like making all these really long delays of not giving people the proper updates of when the game's going to come out and all that shit, I personally don't like that. I think if you're going to, make a video game, especially if it's going to be a very, very successful one, you have to come out with some proper updates. You have to come out with some like beta testing, and at least come out with some hints of like what the game should look like by time the beta comes out, and then what you're going to fix up until final release launch, and then that's what will make the game itself look a lot better. But until then, I think ESBC is a good game for now, but it's yet to be shown, because like we really don't know what this game is going to be, and I would really hope that this game actually becomes really good, because I personally want to see ESBC rise to the top. But the problem with that possibility is just that ESBC has such a short window of trying to get this game out to the right level of what we want to see it to be. And I truly believe that if it's not going to fulfill most of what the gaming community's demands of what ESBC should be, then I don't see ESBC really doing a good job, unless they actually do cater to a good audience where people can accept it, and then they could cling on to the game for quite some time. But then sooner than later, it has to come to a point where people have to either make that decision, where do they want to keep investing their money into this game, or do they just want to wait until like a brand new game comes out from EA, where maybe Fight Night Champion 2 comes out, or whatever game that comes out of the Fight Night series, and there will probably be a lot more consistency coming out of that. But either way, I think the game itself is good. It's good that they're actually let the very first or as far as the company goes, Steel City Interactive, they actually let the very first business to come out with this game on the PC, because like no other boxing game like Fight Night has ever made a game be available on the PC. To me, like, which is like, for me personally, I find that to be really messed up and stupid, because boxing games should be available on the PC. It would have been nice to see like games like Facebreaker or Fight Night Champion, or Fight Night Round 1 through 3 to have it available off the PC, especially if it was going to be sold off of Steam or Origin, like whatever marketplace that it would have offered. But unfortunately, it just never, I guess, like never offered that availability to the consumer. So I was always just like really surprised of how that always went down, and it really upsetted me because I wanted to see something like that. But as far as I guess like the very first thing that they've introduced is a women's division. Um, I personally think that was a great idea, but I think with this women's division, they have to be pretty consistent with adding every single female fighter that they can. But I think what they should also do is kind of go off of or take a page from Fight Night's book where they allow a create a fighter mode where you could just make like your fighter male or female, and then you could actually have like a downloadable database where you could just take cyber faces out of certain fighters, and then you could just basically emulate them to be built as a fighter, and then boom, there's your actual fighter instead of actually buying the fighter itself, because that's what a lot of people actually did off of Fight Night, and that was actually way better to do that because if you didn't want to buy George Foreman, you could actually just download him, and then boom, like nobody didn't need to buy him. But if ESPC doesn't do that, especially for the females, I don't think that's going to be good as far as like promoting the game per se. And I think it would be really good and very rewarding to do that for both genders, so that way everybody could like just like basically boxer share or I guess like data share between other users of like what fighters that they want to download, like Devin Haney, let's just say Kimbo Slice, or just any type of like character that people come up with. I think that would definitely be a really good look for them, and ESBC will definitely be on top if they stay consistent with the content that they bring out, with allowing players to compete at a high level with their own created characters, and then you could have like male or female level bouts similar to Fight Night, where you have your own gym. You can go to the gym and possibly spar with other online players, or if you want to get into like professional like world tournament level bouts, that would be good too. And I want to say that's what they're planning on doing, but they just have to try to structure it together, and I think they're going to get the job done, but they obviously just need to be consistent with what they're going to put out there. And I think eventually they're going to get it done. They obviously still have lots of work to do with how they strategize the mechanics, especially online and offline. I would definitely like to see a campaign mode if they could have that too, but I don't think that's really necessary. Obviously, that's what legacy mode is there for, where you just start from the bottom, similar to Fight Night Champion or a Fight Night Series, and then you just basically work your way up to the world title level. So I think it's good altogether. It's definitely in a good fashion of where the company is going. Obviously, they still have some work to do, but I think eventually they're going to be up there in skill as far as developing the game, and everything should be set. And I would like to see that because, take a look at it with games like Battlefield. Even though the Battlefield series is not completely perfect, but there are certain games out there that made people play Battlefield, like Battlefield 4, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3. Those are the type of games that people basically stuck with, and ever since then, Battlefield or DICE as a business has been doing absolutely phenomenal with just having these old games out there that people still play, whether if it's on the PC or regular old gen or new gen consoles, and it's awesome. So if Steel City Interactive can keep that same energy and actually develop the right content that fans are asking for, then Steel City can definitely rise themselves to the top. And I think it's gonna turn out to be a really good franchise, depending on what they're going to build out of certain games, especially out of like a boxing series. But for me personally, like what I would like to see out of EA is I want to see them compete with Steel City, where they could make their own type of boxing games, such as maybe like bring back Facebreaker, which that was a really good freestyle-ish boxing video game where you could have like your own, customizable characters, especially male or female, but they had like cool looking styles that everybody liked to play, and that's what made the game really competitive. And I personally like that out of them because they really kept the consistency and fun out of that game. But I would like to see other games such as Fight Night Champion. I would definitely like to see that game come back. If Fight Night Champion can make a return, that would be amazing. Be very, very healthy for the sport of boxing, because a lot of people were expecting Fight Night to come out, but yet, unfortunately, EA had a deal with the UFC where they were going to make at least like 3 to 4 UFC games, if not more. So I guess EA has been profiting more off of Fight Night, or no, not Fight Night. They like EA has been profiting more off of like the UFC MMA fighting games, because MMA is a lot more popular in marketable fighting. But as far as boxing goes, like boxing is still one of the popular fighting sports games out there, but it's like EA, they're choosing to just keep making copy and pasted MMA games such as UFC in particular, because that's what EA has been making more money off of. And I want to say that their contract should be up soon, and I've heard that I guess from like recent developers, they said that Fight Night should be in the works soon. But if it is, by all means, I am definitely ready to see Fight Night happen, because at this point, if ESBC does come out and it does become a success and Fight Night's not going to make a return, that's going to be really bad for the sport of boxing, especially in the gaming world. But because if there's not enough development businesses out there that are willing to make more boxing games to compete against ESBC, because eventually the game itself is going to have problems to the point where people are going to get bored and very stale playing that game. I would like to see other competitors step in, and that will make the game, industry for those sports itself actually grow. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what the future may hold for, boxing video games, because boxing is in need for a video game. So I would say it would be nice to see what the boxing world can do with the video game, because even fighters like Devin Haney said that he's willing to make a boxing video game, but he doesn't know, I guess, who he would want to get with. But I personally think if I'm Devin Haney, I should definitely put my money into making a game, but you have, I guess, the right developers coming in to make that game. I personally think he should probably work with either Respawn Entertainment, or maybe, I don't know, at least work with a good company that's willing to work with you. And then if Devin can profit off of that, he's going to make a shitload of investment off of it if it does become successful. So I don't know, man. I think Devin Haney, he's right in his own beliefs to definitely support that. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, he didn't want to, put himself in there with ESBC, because I guess he thought ESBC wasn't really worth doing business with. But I thought Devin, obviously made the right decision, because, he probably just thought there just wasn't a right return on the investment in trying to be with ESBC. So he just figured, well, let me just wait until whatever boxing game does come out, and at least that way that will favor Devin Haney's purpose and what he wants to do for himself being promoted in a video game, especially in boxing. But I think Devin if he ever does get promoted in a boxing game, 9 times out of 10, it'll probably be coming out of EA with Fight Night Champion. Because Fight Night is definitely hot. A lot of people like Fight Night, and I personally like Fight Night. So I think Fight Night would be the right game for that. And I personally believe if Fight Night does come back, I like to see the women in there. I like to see like world tournaments in there, especially like a Super Six tournament in there. I would do it. I would definitely love to see that. I would like to see whatchamacallit. I would like to see like title how should I say like title fights like I guess like similar to Fight Night Champion, like where they had like world title fight tournaments and they had world title fight battles. They could have like high class rivalries with certain online players and shit like that. And then you could have like an online career legacy where whether if it's male or female, you could just create like your own little I guess like legacy path of like what type of fighter that you want to build, whether if it's going to be like a Canelo Alvarez type fighter, or if it's just going to be some sort of like a journeyman fighter, or basically whoever. But that will definitely be amazing for the sport of boxing if that could go to that level, and I'm definitely willing to see that be the thing of the future if that's something that we could see. So, that's pretty much what I have to say. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think ESBC is gonna make a good, a display of giving fight fans what we want to see, or do you think it is a hype job game and it's just not gonna give us what we asked for? So that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day and bye.